So I guess I'm like the cat that's got the canary because I got the canary. So the Canary from QSP, check it out. It's got that carbon fiber look on that sheath. It's a neck knife, and it's an appropriate size neck knife too, I think. And if I could figure out, well, I laid it right down here. Okay. But it's, I mean, there's some neck knives that are around like 6 inches overall length and stuff, and that's just too long. This is 5 1/4, 2.5 inch blades. That's enough blade for a neck knife as far as I'm concerned. So what is that? 65 millimeters and then 13.2 centimeters long. Okay, the Canary, and it's affordable. I saw this in Atlanta Blade Show when I was visiting Blade Banter, who was running the booth, of course, and I go, wow. I was looking in the case at the different knives they had, and this really struck me. But of course, they had a whole bunch of these. And let me show you something real quick. It's how many different ones can you get? I mean, you can get this Damascus with gold foil, and it's not a great picture, but $103. I mean, mine's like $45, right? So, I mean, you can spend what you want. But then, yeah, if you want to get black and you want denim blue micarta with a black blade, I mean, and on and on and on. Yellow with the black blade, yellow like mine with stonewash, or you can get the aluminum foil. You could get, what do they got? Green micarta or black and red G10, either with a stonewash or a black blade, etc., etc., and the denim blue with a stonewash. So, I mean, just rock and roll. I like G10 on stuff like this. I'm starting to get a little bit micarted out, so I'm good with G10 actually on something like this. It comes in a box, like yay, and of course, it's their penguin guy in here. Have a knife day, and then the wolf that's always after the penguin. Okay, better knife, better life. And then the fitted box for it, which is, it's a nice touch. And there's your sheath, and that gives you the parameters on that. And then jimping on the blade, 5 1/4 overall, blah, 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 on and on. So 2.5 inch blade, okay? So 14C, 14C 28N, stonewash blade, and will it cut something? And you know what? It's enough. It's enough blade. And let's first, we got to get a hold of the paper. Okay. Yes, it's got, I wouldn't call it scary sharp, but it's a pretty good little factory edge on it. So no problems with that, except I just made a big mess. But nice box, sheath. Here's what it looks like. And yeah, this is nice, and it'll fit over my fat head. And, so I can carry it. And it's not very heavy. So let's, that'd be a question you'd be asking, right? I mean, how much am I toting around there? A little over 2 ounces. Of course, you're going to be toting the rest of this too. It clicks in there. No, it's not rattling inside the sheath. And of course, you can attach it to a pack or whatever you want. And then let's roll all the goodies on top of here. So 2.8 ounces, okay, all in with about 80 grams. So yeah, overall, just everything included, not that heavy, but it's full tang. Pops right off. It stays on pretty good. All right. And, here's the thing I was going to say. Okay, QSP. I'll give you the link to QSP website, and you can see here the stats, but also, you know, $62. Well, that's the MSRP, not the minimum advertised price. So always, you know, keep that in mind. And then they show you a couple of variations that you could do. But this, yeah, like $49, I think, wasn't it? $53 if you get my Carta. Yeah, mine was $49.50. Okay, not $62. $49.50, and then 10% off. Okay, but it's $62 is the MSRP, right? So 10% LTK is your discount code, so you almost get $5 off of this. Okay, so what? $44 all in. They don't charge shipping or tax. So that's pretty affordable. Nice little stonewash, full tang. You know, it's obviously skeletonized, and without taking these scales off, you could, you know, tie it to something, lash it to something, and use it as go frog gigging. Except it's probably not the right kind of spearhead for frog gigging. But, and then up here, you got jimping. So it's a nice little knife that you can carry around, but you can open boxes. You can do a lot of stuff with this. I mean, I think it's way cool, and I like all the variety that they offer too, with Damascus blades and copper. I mean, carbon fiber, copper foil thing, and all that kind of craziness. But I mean, I saw them laid out in that case in Atlanta, and there was just something about this design I liked. It's just a fairly simple overall package. Yeah, it's going to be a three finger. It's going to be a three finger knife, but I like neck knives. But it's got to be the right kind of neck knife, and sometimes they can just be too much. And I go, it's not a neck knife anymore. It needs to be just a fixed blade that you can. Yeah, I mean, you could literally, though, actually on this one, let me look around the camera. You could just dump this in your pocket, actually. It's not that long overall. What is it? 5.5 inches, even with the sheath. And I mean, hell, I got some cold steel knives folded are 5 or more than that. I mean, the PM2, right? The Spyderco Paramilitary 2 is 5-inch handle, so it's at least 5 inches closed. So this is about the same. Yeah, it doesn't have a clip, but I mean, you can get maybe an Alti clip you could put on here. I don't know. So there's probably some options for actually putting it in your pocket if you'd rather do that. And you know, the Alti clip is not a bad idea. But yes, neck knives, not a problem either. Good looking. Now, if you want to take these scales off, you can, okay? And I can as well. And they're not that difficult to remove. You just got to make sure you kind of crack the screw, because I cracked them a little earlier. They're on there. I mean, they're not playing. Okay, they ain't playing. They're on. And so they're not loose. You won't have a problem with that. You might say a few words in cracking them loose, but there's your scale. And see, of course, they're skeletonized. You can see that. But you can see on these little pieces here that they're squared off. So, you know, this side, and the good thing that they did, that they thought about, which is what other knife fixed blade people ought to think about as well. Let me put this, we should be able to have you back here. Come on. Is to not have an entryway here, because I've seen them where they're squared off, but they still have a place, you know, to put your Torx, right? Like this does, okay? And that's a false message there, because you will not turn this. You will not turn this because it's not going to turn. So one guy was pointing that out in my comment section on a previous knife. It's like, why do you put, you know, a Torx entry into a thing that is not going to turn? That's just going to cause disaster, and it could. So QSP, they did not do that. And that was smart. And let me see if this is magnetic. And yes, it is. And so good. Steel hardware here. And just like that. So you can take that off if you want or not. But it is removable. And it's really inexpensive. And I do. I like the design. I think they thought about a few things, and for no more than it costs and the price. And 14C, not a bad steel to go for as far as a user, inexpensive steel, but also high in chromium, so low corrosion as well. I like it. What can I say? QSP, I mean, with the Mini Penguin and the Penguin Plus or Penguin XL that they've come out with recently. And they've got some new reveals too that you need to check out on the QSP site. Because I saw a couple of models and I can't remember the name right off the top of my head, but you might want to check them out. QSP not only doing a lot of interesting designs on their own, under their name, but they're also an OEM of note as well. They're doing knives for other people who are doing design work and starting their own, you know, brand or line of knives. And they seem to be doing a good job in that regard as well. So fit, finish, everything, not too shabby. The Canary, I like it. And we do. We love them knives. So you guys, stay sharp.